Let me explain to you what happened in Kashmir Valley, which group has claimed responsibility, and what did they say. There is a place called as Pahalgam, which is almost 90 kilometers from Srinagar. This Pahalgam has a scenic spot called as Mini Switzerland or Baisaran Valley, and a lot of tourists who enter Jammu Kashmir, they make sure that Pahalgam is also part of their itinerary. Now, in this place, the terrorists actually came down and strike the tourists because it's an open field and the tourists cannot escape. And that's exactly the advantage that the terrorists took. According to an eyewitness from a family from Pune, which lost two of its male members, the terrorists came down to the tent, checked who was inside the tent, and asked the male members of their family to recite the Quranic verses. And when they could not, they were shot at several times. This clearly shows that it was a targeted killing of Hindus. This happened at a time when the Vice President of the United States was in India. This happened at a time when Prime Minister Modi was almost on his way to Saudi Arabia on a bilateral visit. This happened at a time when the Public Accounts Committee of the Parliament, which has some of the prominent parliamentarians, meeting in Srinagar. This happened at a time when the registrations for Amarnath Yatra had just begun. And the group that claimed responsibility over this attack is Resistance Front, which is an offshoot of Lashkar-e-Taiba. And looking at the coincidence of these incidents and the attack by Resistance Front, it clearly shows that they wanted to send out a greater message to the Indian government. And this is what they put out in a statement. They say that non-locals are residing in Jammu Kashmir, and this is altering their demography, and that's the reason why they have attacked. And they say that they will continue to target tourists whenever they come down to Jammu Kashmir. Now, it's just not any tourist or any non-local. If you take a look at the questions they asked near the tent, it clearly shows that they don't want any Hindus coming from other parts of the country and residing in Jammu Kashmir, and even for tourism purposes. Because if you take a look at all the terrorist activities that have happened in the recent past, whether it's the Pulwama attack in 2019 or few terror activities last year, most of it has been against the military establishment, against our armed forces, but rarely on the civilian population. But this was a full-blown attack on the civilians, specifically Hindus. Something of this kind had happened only in 2611. Out of those 26 people who were killed, one was local Kashmiri. These terrorists have not just attacked Hindus, a specific religion, but also have destroyed the lives of Muslims in the valley, because now the tourism is going to be shattered. Hardly anyone is going to take an interest to visit Jammu Kashmir again. And this is exactly the motive of these terrorists, because they can radicalize the youth of the valley even more when they are not busy in their life or making their lives financially better. So it becomes a breeding ground for more potential terrorists. Prime Minister Modi has assured that he will not spare anyone who was involved in this attack. But how long will it continue? You can kill one terrorist, two terrorists, three terrorists, at the max 10 terrorists, but how long will this continue? Because the core of this issue is not people, it's the mentality. This will be transferred from one person to another, one generation to another generation, and this radicalism will keep continuing. I hope there is a way out to this, and the government of India takes enough measures to protect the local population and also the population which visits there as migrant laborers. For now, hit the terrorists at a spot where they can never bounce back.